What's up, guys? What's happening, everybody?
What's
what up, tribe?
And
What
we're
up,
back,
tribe?
all three of us.
Finally.
I haven't seen you guys for a while.
I haven't seen my boys in a while.
We're finally back. We're here, and the Arab Media Forum is coming to a
المنتدى
beautiful...
الإعلام العربي.
لا، منتدى الإعلام العربي يا ابن الحلال.
أنا شو قلت العربي؟
المنتدى للإعلام.
في ضم تحت في شدة فوق الياء.
عربي 101.
زين، منتدى الإعلام العربي.
Thank you. The Arab Media Forum.
The Arab Media Forum.
Finally coming to an end. It has been an amazing 2 days out here in the Dubai Media City booth. We've had a lot of fun. We've interviewed a lot of amazing people.
We got interviewed by a lot of amazing people as well.
Yes.
We did. I've seen Akawi flex his Arabic game to another level.
It is fire.
وإننا اليوم صناع محتوى في مكان نصنع فيه محتوى من أجلكم من أجلنا من أجلكم.
You see what I mean? By the way, for those that don't know and are looking to hire, Akawi is a VO artist.
He's a VO artist.
Amazing at reading scripts.
Only one tone, only one flavor.
Yeah.
If you want a specific flavor, he can help you.
He's got you down. But it's been great. I mean, the previous session that Akawi and I did with Fad Sal, all in Arabic.
كله بالعربي.
You guys are fire. So fierce.
حتى ريم على فكرة, even Reem here and there, she threw a bit of Arabic.
Anyways, let's not.
كل عربي on camera.
كل شيء. أنتي ما خلى لهجة أنتي. عربي، سوداني، سعودي، عراقي،
ما سوينا
مغربي. ما عملت مغربي، لا ليش صاحبي؟
لا نسيت يا أخي ادخل عندي.
يلا ما مشكلة.
Anyways.
السنة الجاية.
But it was amazing. It was a lot of fun. How do you feel about it?
I feel really, really great. I feel every time we pop up a Dukkan, I feel like the community comes together. They celebrate what we love, and all of the nostalgia comes to the fore. I love creating spaces where people feel home, and I think that's what we've done. So
I can't wait for the next one. I can't wait for next year's Arab Media Forum صراحة.
yes, yes.
What do you feel? How do you feel about this?
Bro, صراحة I'm so full of adrenaline. I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one who will discuss.
By the way, we found Akawi in the middle of the 360 media panel. Like someone thought he was on the panel for some reason.
Akawi wanted to bombard the stage, like he was set. Like this was all him right now.
May I have the mic?
I love it. The topics were so interesting, man. The evolution of media, and sitting down with people that were from traditional TV, man, and having that discussion with them. Like me and Reem sat down yesterday with the reporter in Arabic, of course.
Yes.
And she was just asking us about how do you see it going? Do you see it impact? And it was such a nice conversation.
It was a really honest conversation about the transition that our industry is genuinely feeling. And it's a transition that's happening really, really fast. So we're either going to band together and figure it out together, or one of us ain't going to survive. And that's the reality of it.
Exactly.
And I feel like doing this space allows us, a safe space for discourse and community, and it's absolutely wonderful.
To be honest, we're like the middle guy because we've merged both.
Yes.
We're live streaming on social media, but it's still that TV kind of thing. You know? Just come to the Dukkan, just come to the Dukkan.
But I think what's great about it is that it allowed for us to cover multiple topics that have been things we've been talking about for a while, but I feel like people were not coming together to have discourse. They were just speaking about it in echo chambers.
Absolutely.
And we try to marry them into a single space to talk about it. Like Fad Sal was talking about the being able to talk about certain types of content that usually you can't speak about on television, or maybe did not accept to speak about, like divorce in Saudi Arabia and the social issues that we go through, or talking about entertainment and sports and content creation, and the difference between somebody that's going to grab their phone and create amazing, phenomenal content versus having a full team and a camp set up and actually creating high quality content versus television with like 12 and 15 man people just to shoot 2 people, 3 people sitting just like us, right?
To that point, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
For the past 2 days, I've been so fascinated because we are actually right next to one of the larger stands with a really heavy-duty broadcast system, which is legitimate and valid and wonderful. But for content creators of the future and entrepreneurs who may want, just a beginning to tell their story, our setup is literally an 1/8 of that size, going to a potential platform of the universe. That's how I see this is the future of media and innovation, and I believe that there's a middle ground where we can, because we need that programming help.
Because
we do need that programming
that middle ground is always going to be there, because what you're looking at is you have a universe for the random content creation, but when it comes to professional content development, there is a structure, there is a system, and there is a way, but then it's a question of like, where do I put it and how do I execute it? Because I come from the school of thought of like, these are just mediums, right? And if I know what works for what medium, then I can create content across all the platforms that works for it specifically in its own style, right? Television demands such high caliber, it demands so much from you in a way that, you actually, every person on that set has a very important and critical role to play, right?
Yes and no though, because yes, I agree, but I believe that if we are to be future thinking, those roles are often filled by the development of technology has allowed us not to cut out those roles, but rather repurpose those roles. And so when you see, someone specifically just to carry a light, whereas, our lights are agile, I'm not saying that they're a replacement. I'm saying they make the creation of media democratized and the suspension of media democratized.
But there, you got script reading, right? You have writers on set. You have the camera guys. You have the sound guys on set. They're to be given. I mean, I don't know if it's to credit them or not, but their broadcast unit is massive.
Yes.
To be able, and keep in mind, they have a van right outside.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
They need to be
but
able
that's
to
because it's traditional.
connect to the van, and then the van needs to connect to the TV station.
But you need to buy a channel on there. If you're going to own the programming, if you're going to own your narrative, you have to buy a channel.
Yeah.
Whereas we're in the spaces that we operate,
other people's channels.
and freelancers operate, and content creators operate, you own your channel. Therefore, you own your narrative, and you have to develop content at the highest caliber possible.
And it's an evolution of resources.
Exactly.
Because back in the day, for you to get, if you wanted to do this back in the day, we need to find a plug in television. You have to go sit down with them. You have to present a mood board. But now you even have spaces like M5 where you don't need this whole.
They give you so much production support.
They give you the resources. They give you the knowledge. They give you everything where you don't need this whole operation to put your message out. You don't need to have, like you said, you don't need to have a TV channel with an OB fan. Now it's just YouTube.
Yeah.
The resources are different. They're easier. There's easier access.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things of evolution.
Yes, I agree. But I also feel like on our side, the demand, and when I say on our side, on the content creator side, we need to rise to the occasion of creating content that's sustainable and think from a business perspective. And that's why I'm so happy we partnered with Dubai Media City, because the beginning of that is a great business partnership that allows you that facilitates your creator, yourself as a creator.
But also, I agree to that. And the thing is that I think the reason why it works is because we come from a business background, we understand the business of it. We're able to do that we're able to navigate these worlds very well and be able to speak for it. But I think it's also important to note for the young content creators that actually don't know what they're doing sometimes. You want to create content, by all means do it. I'm for it. But also, I think not discrediting or ignoring older people or professionals because they don't understand the universe of content. Yes, they don't, but they might actually help you with legal advice, or financial advice, and little things that you haven't had a chance to experience yet. And I think that's also very important and key because these are things we had to learn along the way and step by step.
I agree completely.
And cry about not figuring out how to balance your finances and your P&Ls. So what is the P&L?
Even the quality of content.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say is yes, there's a quality of content, but there's a universe that I think people tend to not ignore, but not necessarily address. Yeah. Right? Understand what are the legal implications of saying certain things or not saying other things, right? Where's the financing? Where is the advice of okay, if I want to make this into a business, you know what? I've been shooting for 10 years off of my phone. Now I'm ready to go into a larger space. What do I need to do? How do I move there? So being able to answer these things, I think, is also important. And also looking to people like Khaswara, who are actually creating pipelines of systems to navigate that and help people to actually get into these spaces in a safe way. Because there's a worry of people like my younger brother, who's coming into the space and he doesn't want to create content, but he's a heavy consumer.
Yes.
He will sit at the dining table with his iPad, and Judy, I think your niece as well. They sit there having their food, and they've got their iPad, and they're watching these shows. But then, is it, yes, some of them are for kids, but then is it does it agree with the morals and ethics of your family, for example? There are these things that, how do you answer that, or where do you go from that?
Well, I think that's a parenting question, rather. But I feel like they should be able to access content that looks and sounds like the universe they live in, which is something that we never really had when we were growing up. You didn't see Arab superheroes. You consumed other brands that other cartoons. But I didn't see them anyways, and I never, not as to my memory, saw cartoons that looked like me, like brown girls. There were no do you know what I mean? No, but I would like a world of content creation where every person can look in the universe and say, okay, there's somebody wonderful like me. And I think that's part of the reason, I don't think the consumption of content is going to shrink. I think it's only going to grow.
And it's going to diversify into new spaces that haven't been built yet.
That's something that Sal was saying. He's Sal gave a call out to advertising. He was instead of working with everyone, work with 200 quality content, because there's a lot of, he's how is there junk food? Food, there's also junk content, and people love junk content, and that's where That switch happens.
And then it comes to the conversation of what's your filter and how are you filtering through that? Because how do you decide what's good versus bad content? And that is, there are certain filters that need to be in place that a lot of people don't. Even the agencies,
100%.
because they think because you have views, okay, that means it's great. Yeah, but it's like the candy we've been giving people, just a lot of sugar, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that great, but it's nostalgic.
It's not gluten-free?
No, it's not. I apologize.
I've been telling everybody that this is all diet food, and I don't know why, because it's free and they love it anyway. Yeah. So he's upselling them on the upsell.
So it doesn't really matter.
But to your point, and صراحة, and I won't say it, but we don't have time, is that I don't think this is controllable, the whole junk on, because also, if you're going to say something, you need to go back to the channels. You do at YouTube, Facebook. They want to flush as much content as you want. It's the viewer loves junk content, but it's up to us or up to future lifestyle is to educate as well.
I agree. Yeah. And I take that responsibility I take that with a lot of pride and privilege, that we're able to be kind of the voice box for what is a really fast-moving and shifting industry. And I think when we are able to pop up and actually interact with our industry, I am so grateful. Like, as far as days go, I think it's been phenomenal.
We're interacting with all kinds of people from media and TV moguls and giants in the industry to young content creators to
someone who just wants a freelance visa, who wants to work, who just wants to work in an industry.
10-year-old who's the youngest photographer who's walking around.
We met the 12-year-old who's the youngest journalist as well.
Yeah.
It's being here has been amazing. You get to see the spectrum. Back in the day, I feel like the Arab Media Forum might have not been as fun or as interesting as it is now.
Yeah.
Because it would have just been the TV people, radio people, and newspapers. But now you have all kinds of content creators across the board.
Which is also a bit more dangerous, huh?
Exactly. But
in what sense?
Because if you have, sorry to interrupt you, but even if you look at YouTube now and the creators, there is so much exposure for someone that's 10 and just wants to create junk.
Yes.
And which could be, you could even have them here.
Yeah.
Before, there used to be a lot of limitations, a lot of quality control, which is a good and bad thing, which I'm happy that the funnel has opened up now. But sometimes, because the funnel, there's a lot of not dangerous, but there's a lot of junk content that's going to get that traction.
But that goes to the filtering process.
Yeah.
So it's also, for example, for Arab Media Forum, they filtered their invitations. Where are the people they brought on here, right? And that's a very important point of quality and how to control and navigate that. I cannot control what people put on YouTube, but then when I'm hosting such an event at this caliber, I will definitely have to control who gets invited and who gets to come in, right? And that's a sense of responsibility that not only they have, but also we have. And that's what I said to Sa. When I choose to bring on people on the show, I don't bring just anybody on the podcast.
Yes, of course.
You don't have to be famous. You don't have to expect this person, but or an influencer, because some people have this misunderstanding that we do that. But I can bring anybody on as long as they have a decent story to share, right? So we have certain gates. We have certain filters that work as gates to make sure we're getting the right people across. And in the same way he does, right? He's not going to collaborate with anybody just because they make content. So I think that quality control, we have it as an understanding among content creators, but I think it's for the brands and the businesses to also understand that they need to have that quality control, because let's be honest, you don't want to associate your brand with something that doesn't meet it, right?
Yes, but I also feel like that's just the nature of business. If the content, if one platform doesn't meet your needs, whether budget-wise or creative-wise, you move up or down depending on what you can do. And I also see that as a business. I see that as a business negotiation, and I feel like we're negotiating. Like now, the books are open and we're in full negotiation. Rates have not been set, standards have not been set, because the industry is about a decade old. And I feel privileged to be a part of, what an amazing time to be in the work that we do. I think that's pretty much where
I agree to that completely. I agree to that. The only concern is if I am very careful with my brand, I have to be as careful and as critical in my choice of partners.
Of course.
Right? So and this is, I think, what's important, that you don't just get anybody because of their views and their numbers and because of what they're creating online. It's like we're talking to Haswara about, is there a real influence beyond just this facade or what exists digitally, right? And if, do we work together? Do we have the same brand understanding or brand ethics or brand positioning? And I think these are important, because if you just go to 10 people just for the sake of numbers, that's going to get you nowhere, and it could actually be damaging in the long run to your brand.
That's true.
And you're seeing the shift, and it's something that I told the YouTube creators when they're there's now a shift from when we started with YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, from quantity to quality. Because back in then, I was telling the YouTube guys, I'm telling them that back in the reason we're here, they want to hear your story, and they're not telling you what to put on your content. They want to see your authenticity. Because back in the day when it started, they used to tell gamers or used to tell YouTubers, just wear it. and we know we're gonna. And in the recap, we're gonna go like, we have 500 million views. He had a swoosh on his shirt, or he had a can in his. But now they're asking you to tell more authentic stories. So you see that shift from content. You see it also with us.
Yes.
And the model that OT ran with Dukkan show is that he used to not. He used to delete followers because he wanted quantity followers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then having quality followers. And then having quality followers at our event is a trickle effect to quantity. And we see that every day.
But that's also an arena we play in where we don't collaborate with every brand.
Yeah.
And not only that, we advise our clients not to collaborate with every influencer or content creator. Yeah. And so I think that that's just part of our ethos, the way we operate. And I respect.
And it works.
And I respect the other way. And I think that I feel like our way works for us.
I think they both do.
They both do.
And the beauty about it is that it's like what we said with Khaswar, is like what works, what doesn't work, we don't know.
Yeah.
Let's try
We're figuring it out.
Do it anyway.
We're just figuring it out.
That's the beauty of new age media.
Yeah.
You can try it, you can figure it out. On TV, you couldn't do that.
It is so forgiving to us because I think, and that's something that I really want to impress on on everyone, that it is forgiving in its way. As long as you respect it, it will respect you.
And being purposeful.
And being purposeful
is always important as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we got.
That's what we got out of it.
Be purposeful.
Do something.
Do it in Arabic.
يكون عندك سبب.
سبب. Purpose.
لصناعة المحتوى الذي تريد.
الله أكبر.
شكرا والسلام عليكم. معكم كابتن محمد عكاية عمر ختام حميد. نحن اليوم في منتدى الإعلام العربي.
You got it right. يا أخي مبسوط منك. حنان.
عايزين نحكي معك بالعربي.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys very much. It's been a pleasure. We've been live for 3 full days. We promised to. No, Nike.
That's, oh my God. It's been 3 days of live streaming.
خلاص تعود على الكاميرا.
I'm getting old. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Thank you guys. We love you. مع السلامة. See you soon.
Salam alaikum. Salamis, you got it right. Mubarak, I'm so proud of you.